Rebel Author Podcast, where we talk about books, business, and occasionally bad words. Hello, Rebels, and welcome to, well, actually, I don't know what I'm welcoming you to yet, and I will explain that in a moment. So my good friend, Rachael Herron, asked me whether or not I would like to do a once a month catch-up with her, and whether or not there was a way that we could help writers as we caught up. Basically, just an excuse to spend a bit more time together. And as we discovered, we're on very similar paths at the moment. So this is something that we kind of will collaborate, we want to work together, and just catch up as good friends. And one thing that I do know is that you guys love it when you hear a chit chat with me and somebody who is like a in real life friend. And okay, I haven't met Rachael in real life yet. I'm sure we will at some point in the future, but she is a dear friend. So this is what we're doing. We are going to do a monthly chat. We don't have a name for it yet. We've got 3 options, which I will be letting the patrons vote on. I think we've got the Black Heron, the How Do You Rebel Salon, and the How Do You Rebel Cafe. So it will be one of those names. We don't know which one yet, but there will be a vote. And so perhaps by the time this goes live, as I'm releasing this a month early to patrons, there will be a name. There will be an official name. So perhaps I will add that as an extra intro at the end, or perhaps in the show notes. So this recording is quite literally us catching up and brainstorming about what this might become or what we might do. So you're kind of getting like an insight, a look-see behind the curtains to see our thought process. So this is just like an extra bonus episode, and then I suspect we will formulate things maybe a tiny bit more. It is going to be informal. It is just going to be a friend catch up, but we're going to talk writing, we're going to talk business, we're going to talk books, and we'll probably throw in some strength stuff in there, but we are not coaches, but just because we are both learning about strengths. And so, when you're talking to your friends and you both like strengths, you talk about strengths, right? All hail Becca Syme. So, yes, I hope that you enjoy this bonus chat between Rachael and I, and you'll get a little look inside. There are some confessions that at least I make anyway about where I'm going, the 3 directions I'm heading in. One I don't talk about quite so much because I'm still one I don't talk about as much. But yes, let me know what you think. I would love to know what you think of this chat. And of course, in a month's time, when you get the next one, what you think of that as well. So yes, let's for patrons, let's have a vote, and hopefully we'll have an episode name afterwards. And enjoy the start of this because my audio was not working. So it's like me getting hot and flustered and stripping for Rachael as I get all sweaty and panicked that my audio is not working. But anyway, enjoy. I'm not going to do any more spoilers. And let me know what you think of this episode. Bonus episode.
Yes! We have sound! We have sound! It's the headphones. It's the headphones, okay? It's the headphones. The fucking piece of shit cheap headphones that I brought. So they're gone.
Oh, what a relief. Isn't that frustrating? Because we use Zoom, all day, every day. And then when it doesn't work, we're like, what the fuck?
I know. Right. Now I'm all hot and bothered and sweaty. I'm going to have to get undressed. Oh my God. Right. Hang on. Let me get undressed. Right.
Welcome to our new show where lesbians undress. Oh my God. Show me your Tito's. That's an amazing shirt.
I know. I thought it was very appropriate.
Hello, my friend Sasha Black. How are you?
Darling. I'm okay now. Now I have been to the chiropractor and been bent like a pretzel.
Did it help?
So yes and no. I need to put like an ice pack on my back because thankfully it's just muscular.
Do you want to do this show in an hour or tomorrow? Like, seriously, strap the ice pack to you.
Oh, no, I'm like, I live for pain.
I know you do.
Yeah,
and, let's just start the drinking now because I also am high achiever, high competition. the the combination is beautiful.
Yes.
Bring the pain.
Yes. I don't mind at all. I'm all good. Now now the sound is working. Now I'm not like sweating with panic. That we're all good. I will calm down in like 3 minutes and it will be fine. So tell me, how are you?
I am so good. I have been so looking forward to chatting with you, my friend. And I have to tell you, so we're recording, and who knows what of this will make it to air, or all of it. Who knows? But I just adore you. I just adore you. And I love listening to your podcast. And I feel like you're a friend. And I was, walking, and we've been in each other's lives for like years. Like you listened to my show with Jay, and I loved your show with Daniel, and your own show. And I was just walking around the hills, and I remember here in New Zealand, and I'm on the polar opposite world from you. Like literally, if I drove through the earth, I would come up in northern Spain. Like that's how opposite we are. And I was thinking about the conversation we had when you were on my show, and you said something like, oh, I wish I had more writing friends close by. And then that just like got me thinking, but our writing friends can be close by wherever we are. And it is really nice to have them in town too. And that's, to be gotten to word. But I was like, what if we chatted every once in a while and put it up for people to listen to?
Yeah, I love it. I'm totally up for it. When you said that, I was like, oh my, no, she can't be me. I was like, oh my God, but I love Rachel. She can't possibly mean me. So I was like, oh my God. So like, yeah, I was like all the way in, like immediately had already jumped, like feet first. And I was like, but Ellie told me I wasn't allowed to make decisions immediately.
So tell people who Ellie is, because Ellie is a goddess.
She is a literal goddess. She is my strengths coach, who I see monthly, more than once. I see her one-to-one coaching once a month, and I see her for micro coaching.
How have we never landed in a micro coaching together? Because I always see Ellie.
Get out. You have micro coaching too?
Funny. Yes, I have for a year or more.
Oh my
God. Yeah, more than a year. And we've never, ever been in the same group.
Do you do the same one every month though?
No. And my times are probably bunkers compared to like what you're taking.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's what it is.
I usually do the second Sunday in the month. Usually I won't this month, but almost every single month. That's the one that I do, which is probably like 4 o'clock in the morning for you or something ridiculous. I don't know.
So she is coaching Clifton Strengths, and she's just one of those people that when she speaks, she shakes things loose in my brain, and she changes everything about the way I do everything. So the fact that you needed, that she has told you to slow your roll before you jump. I get.
I can't believe you have coaching. This has made my day. So like, what are some of your takeaways that you've had? I'm putting you on the spot now, but I'm just curious and nosy.
Oh, yeah. Like I have 2 really, 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 really big ones. The first one where she blew my mind was that I get, and with my futuristic and strategic, I get energy pennies. I get this energy from planning. And then I would go to her and I'm like, oh, I love planning, and I do all the planning. And then I fail. And she's like, oh, so it sounds like you get energy from planning and not from executing the planning. So why don't you just plan and then throw the plan out?
Oh my God, I love it. I love her.
You can do that. So now that's part of my everyday. It's part of my week. It's part of my month. It's part of my year. And then, and then I get places. I always get places, and I finish books. But I don't need to beat myself up for non-execution, because my discipline is 32. But the other thing is that recently I have this whole new writing routine, and I wrote a book and revised it in 11 weeks, which is the fastest I've ever done. 95,000 word book. It's the best book I've ever written. And it was confirmed by my editor, who I've worked with many times in the past. And she said, it's the best book she said, you've always been very good. This might be great.
Oh, wow.
And it was because of something Ellie said. And she just got me out of the looping intellection thoughts. And she said, well, where are you writing those thoughts down? And I'm like, oh, everywhere. She says, write them all in one place. Look at them, look at your thoughts, and then react to them. So now I am reacting to my thoughts on a piece of, on a spreadsheet and then I can go, and I'm not an outliner. But I'm reacting as I write, and it's changed everything. So yes,
Oh
all
my
hail
God.
Ellie.
Yeah, seriously. I love her so much. I love those revelations. I really
What's your
feel like
biggest
she is
takeaways from her?
so many. I don't even know where to begin. I think the leaning into the competition. Okay, so my favorite thing that she's
Yes.
ever done to me is that the last book I wrote in 3 weeks, and it was because she basically told me I couldn't do it. So we play this game, and she basically turned around and said that I had to be far more realistic about. I know exactly. It's just over my mouth. This is a whole silly conversation. But anyway, she was like, oh, you have to be more realistic about what you're actually capable of doing, given the fact that you have a child and you have other responsibilities and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, no, no. And I was not happy with that. And then she was like, well, I've got your tracking data. And I was like, so she was like, I know what you're capable of. And I'm like, yeah. And then she was like,
That's dirty.
the numbers don't lie. And that was the trigger for me. I was so pissed at her that I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like steam billowing out of my ears, and I did not go back to sleep until 4:30. I literally seethed for an hour and a half in the middle of the night.
And it was real anger, or was it anger with like that delight underneath it?
I don't know. I was just like, how dare she? And of course I knew that she was psyching me out. That's the funny thing. And I was like, I just don't know if she actually meant it. I don't know if she really believes this. I was like, she can't possibly believe this, but she's right. The numbers don't. Well, I don't like the numbers anyway. And so she was like, okay, look, your low ball is 20K. I had 6 weeks, and she was like, write 20K. I was like, that is ridiculous. That is like less than 400 words a day or whatever it was. I don't know what the numbers are. And then she was like, you can have 30K as an achieve and 40K as a overachieve. And I was like, no, I want my Mount Everest goal to be finishing the book. She was like, you can't do that. So
it's just like she's holding the red cape and waving it.
Literally waving at me. So I wrote 40K in 2 weeks, and then I wrote 30,000 words in a week. So I wrote the whole book in 3 weeks, and then I printed it out because I'm that petty, and I showed her the whole manuscript, and I completely played the game. And I was like, Ellie, I just wanted to say thank you because you were right. The numbers didn't lie, and I hadn't ever got that before. And I'm like, I didn't get 20K. And like her face just crumbled, and she was like, oh, what did you? And then I like pulled up the manuscript halfway through her talking. It was like, I got 70K. Oh, and it was just glorious. So anyway.
Did she fall off her chair? That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, she was
out.
Yeah, only because she psyched me out. So she was like super happy. But so the lesson is that the right person saying the right thing can make me do anything for spite. So there's that one. The second one is writing in a competitive environment.
Yes.
So I use Write. I don't know if you've heard of
I picked that up from you, and I had logged in and made an account a while ago, but I used it for the first time yesterday, and I was like, oh, this won't work. It worked.
Did you write with somebody else?
No, I was in the global room though. So we're like, okay. I was nobody that I knew, but there were 11 other people in the room. So
you saw their counts going up.
Yeah. Can you explain for people what it is? Because I just thought it was so cool.
So Write, spelt OH and then the word write.co, is a web room, I suppose is the easiest way to explain it. And everybody that goes into the web, you can get your own room, or you can go into the global room, or you can go into a friend's room. And everybody has a Word document essentially in there. Nobody else can see. So it's completely private in terms of your own working and your own rough draft. what other people can see is your word count. And so you will see
when
their
you
word
said that
count
to me,
climbing.
I almost crashed the car. I was driving at the time. I remember I was like in the McDonald's drive-through and I was like, oh, that's who made that for me. Who made that for me? And I was like, how much am I going to have to pay for that?
Yeah.
And it's free. I mean, as far as I can tell, I mean, there's ads in there. I don't give a fuck. Like,
nope.
Give me ads. I'm not going to look at them. I'm looking at my document.
Yep. And then the other
That's
thing,
good.
you get stars as well, which is like achieve a penny. Every single time you write 100 words, you get a black star. Every time you hit 1,000, you get a gold star. And it has changed my life, literally. I went from...
you writing with your Patreon people? Or sorry to interrupt you. You went from...
Yeah. Oh, well, no. So I can answer that after. So I have tried it with my Patreon people, but they, I don't know how much they enjoyed it. I think a lot of them have different strengths to me. So it didn't necessarily, some of them liked it. There were a couple who do have competition and achiever and found it quite useful. But I think you have to get the right people to sprint, because the people who I sprint with in the morning, we don't feel competitive against each other because we're really good friends. But because one of us writes really fast, my friend can literally I just don't understand how anyone is capable of getting her word counts. And she has zero competition. So it allows me to be like, okay, but I wanna do as well as her, right?
Yes.
So it's like mutual encouragement, and then the other person's quite disciplined and is really focused, and so she gets a lot of words, and then that encourages me to get a lot of words, not because I'm necessarily competing, but because I don't want to fall behind or let the team down. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So I went from 600 words an hour to 2,000 an hour, which is just crazy. But hey, it works. This is the power of strengths.
The best. And it's interesting because yesterday I used it for the first time and I realized that because I'm usually about 1,500 words an hour, between 14 and 1,600 words an hour. And if I push, I can get up to 2,000. But yesterday I still hit that, but it felt faster and it felt easier.
Yes, it feels
I don't
easier.
know why.
I don't know.
Then just being in my Scrivener document, it felt like and then I went over to, right. And actually I opened this morning before we met and it was down. I couldn't get in. It wouldn't let me in. And I just,
Yes, that happens occasionally. Just wait 5 minutes and it will reopen. And try different browsers sometimes. That's happened to me twice in 3 months of use. So yeah.
Interesting that you say that though, because I put it out to my classes because I'm in the middle of a teaching session right now. So I can't remember how many students, but I've got 3 classes and I put it out to the classes and I'm like, here is Rachel's room. And I run this thing called Rachel Says Write, where people come and write with me for, 2 hours twice a week. And no one has jumped at it. And that is where I have to remember that our brains are not like other people's, because I expected there to be 20 people in that room.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work for everybody, but for people like us, it does.
I know. I don't really understand why it doesn't work for other people, because it is so powerful. And the thing, it's funny because one of the ladies that I write with in the morning was also very resistant and was they were like, I'm not competitive. And I was like, I know, that's okay. I'm not really competing with you. It's just that your energy makes me work faster.
Yes.
And that was kind of how I tried to explain it. And then they jumped in and then they were like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And I was like, I know. So now we all can't work without it.
Okay, perhaps then with Rachel Says Write, I will just I'll just say that the room is open every day. Come in if you want to. And then continually encourage people to try it, because I think it might be surprising. Oh my gosh, we've already gone over so many different things. Can we say for people what Clifton Strengths is? And you handle what Clifton Strengths is, but I will say as a general disclaimer that I think as you and I talk, it'll be impossible not to talk about it, but we are not coaches. We don't know technically. We have not been trained in this. We cannot give advice on it. Please don't come after us. It's just something that we're quite both passionate about. So what is it, my friend?
Okay, so Clifton Strengths is a personality assessment that is founded on the principles of essentially ignoring your weaknesses and improving your natural born talents and skills. And there are 34 different strengths that every single human on the planet has, but in a different order. And your top 5 to top 10 are where you should really focus. And they include all kinds of things from thinking strengths like being futuristic or strategic or context or intellection, which is like somebody who's got a super powerful thinking brain, to influencing strengths like competition and woo and command and activator and basically just me, and then blue strengths like empathy and harmony and I struggle on this one because I don't have positivity.
I have that one.
Yeah, some other ones that I've forgotten. And then executing strengths as well. So like achiever, discipline, deliberative, responsibility, things like that. And each of them basically manifest in a different way. And the more you learn about them, the more you can tweak your processes, your writing processes to work with what your brain naturally wants, which ultimately speeds you up. And that is why our guru, Becca Syme, that's her whole kind of ethos in her business and company. She tries to help writers get better faster. And she is a God-given goddess. So there you go.
She is. And the other thing for me is that it just helped me accept myself instead of beating myself up for this absolute lack of discipline, which I am never going to have. I am never going to do the same thing twice in 2 days. But I know that my only executing strength in my top 10 is achiever. So I harness so much energy to that achiever, and I marry it to activator, and I marry it to my high competition. And so as Sasha and I are talking, we'll probably bring these things up quite a bit, but you don't need to understand them. You don't need to do it, but you should do it. If you're a writer, you should do it. Okay, there, I said it. I said it. You should go to Write. Write Better Faster. What's the website? Yeah,
Better Faster Academy.
BetterFasterAcademy.com. If you Google Becca Syme, Syme, it will come right up. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have fallen in love with yourself all over again?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
And it gets deeper all the time as I realize that there's nothing wrong with the way I do things. And I think you have, I don't know where this one comes from in terms of strengths, or it just could be personality, which it all is. But like you have a lot of that self-assuredness. I have, I think you feel like, yeah, I am fucking rad. And I love that about you. Whereas I kind of default to like, oh, I could be doing it better. I should be doing it better, and guilt. And knowing my strengths and playing to those and forgetting about the things I'm bad at, because I'm never going to get good at those and I don't have to, has just allowed such a peace. It's so good.
Yes. And like shucking off all of the stuff that society told you that you shouldn't be, or like that's the biggest price. I think that's the biggest thing for me is that like I've spent a long time being told I shouldn't be the person that I am. And I think that has been the biggest process of acceptance, which is really powerful because it enables, like the minute you accept yourself, you can lean into yourself in a way. And like that just makes you better at everything, I think. Like I write better books. I'm a better human. I'm a better mother. I'm a better wife. I'm a better everything. I'm the best now. No, I'm kidding.
But are you?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, you are the best. You are the best. I was reading just last night. I picked up Alana Johnson's rapid release book, and I was reading it with my strengths in mind because I have intellection number 2, input number 1, intellection number 2. I am never going to write a book a month, but I read it with that in mind, and I took the pieces that worked for me and my strengths, and I could just chuck the rest out. Instead of in the past, I would have read that book and said, "Oh my God, I'm doing everything wrong. I need to do it this way." And oh, yes.
She is a super machine. I was really in awe when I spoke, because she came on my show, and but when I read her book, I was like, this is the most consistency person I have ever.
Oh, and I have none. I have no consistency.
Neither do I.
Down there with discipline. No. So and I know I can't do that. I know I cannot do her tiered release schedule, but it's a thing of beauty and it delights me
Isn't
to
it?
think about.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
So when I reached out to you, we were saying, what could we do? And I have an idea, and I bet you have ideas, but I want to throw my idea at you. So I was thinking, like, we do not want more on our plate. We're not trying to start a new podcast, I don't think, unless you talk me into it. But I was thinking, like, we don't do it. But I was thinking we could, record with each other once a month or once every other month, or where it fits into our schedule and where we want to. And then I will blast it out on my podcast. You can blast it on your podcast if you want to, but you use your discretion. You do you. So therefore it wouldn't get in our way too much. But I know that what both you and I do is blast through books especially about craft and the business. What if we had like a tiny little mini book club sometimes if we want to?
Love it.
No consistency,
I love it.
no discipline. We can throw that out tomorrow. But like, if we hear about a book we both want to read, or if you've read a book that you have to talk about in detail,
Yes.
tell me to read it. And then I'll tell you to read a book kind of thing.
Oh
What
my
do you
God,
think?
I love it. I love it. Can we include the occasional rainbow book?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm all in.
I love that idea. It's just a book club. It's not a business book club. It is just a book club.
Okay. I am all in. I love it. I love it.
We could do 2 books a time. Like if we're not talking that much, it could be like you bring me a book, I bring you a book. And then once we both read it, we'll talk about it. And if that's in 3 weeks, great. And if it's a very busy season and it's been 9 weeks and we just can't get to it, that's fine too. We'll just chat when we feel like it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love that. And I love that there's no, like, it can be business, it can be craft, it can be, rainbow books too. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Because that makes it a lot easier to choose.
Yes.
Rather than, yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. I love it. Yes. I super love it. Because also I really need some accountability with my reading because I fell into a bit of a hole. I was reading like 4 to 5 books a week. And then I read too many of the same type of book and crash landed and decided I didn't want to write in a particular genre anymore. And then I read. Do you want to
share what that was, or do you want to keep that a little private? Because I'm so curious.
I can tell you off air.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I will tell you off air. Yeah, and so that's like resulted in a bit of a for listeners, I am walking all over the place as I'm trying to intellect on a word. It's resulted in a meandering of genre. Do you want where I'm going?
Do you want to talk about like our future plans too for people who are just coming to you fresh and just coming to me fresh? I would love to know where you are going next because I want to talk about books, yes, but I also want to talk about our careers as friends and like what we're moving towards because I think we have a similarity too. So what are you headed towards right now? I know because I listened to your podcast, but lay it on us.
So I think I'm heading in 3 places, and one of them I haven't told anyone. So this is like, okay. So the first one is I'm going to continue with my nonfiction. Today is the launch day of The Anatomy of a Bestseller.
Oh, yay!
Yay! Here
she is. Beautiful.
So that is the most competition book I've ever written in my life.
Tell us a little the log line for it, please.
So it's called The Anatomy of a Bestseller, 3 Steps to Deconstruct Winning Books and Teach Yourself Craft. And essentially what it does is it enables you to go, oh my, when you read a book and you're like, wow, just wow.
And how?
It's
the wow and the how.
The wow and the how, exactly. This book is going to show you how to figure out the how.
I love
that. That is the whole point of this book. It's to show you how to break down the bestsellers in your genre or the books that make you go wow, so that you can take the tools that those authors are using and put them in your own work. So that's that book. I think I'm going to turn it into a premium course, which we have spoken about. But it needs to be the fall before I can do that, where I will sort of coach people through full end-to-end spectrum deconstruction, including the market for them. So that's that side. The fiction side, I'm moving into a new genre with a new pen name that has a secret TikTok. I know, I finally did it. Because you told me to do a TikTok, and I finally did the TikTok. So that's a new pen name. It's fiction. It's what I will say is that it is no, I'm not going to say anything. And then, sorry. And then the other space that I'm moving into is that I want to write an empowerment book about rebellion.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't told anybody that. And I've been intellecting on it for about 6 months. And I really feel like that is the thing I could do a TED talk on, right?
Yes.
And so I don't quite know how to do it yet. I don't quite know if there will be memoiry bits in there. I want it to be a bit like, not obviously like, you know, you've got the big wigs like Glennon Doyle, Mel Robbins, all of those people. But I've always wanted to be on stage empowering women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is how I do it. So this is something.
It's ringing so true. This is your inner engine. I like to think of us all as having these engines that are where the coal is stored, where it's always burning, and you are the rebel. And I think that's why people fall in love with you, because rebels will fall in love with you because you are their spokesperson. And then people like me, who are, in terms of the 4 tendencies by Gudrun Rubin, I am an upholder, and I'm like, oh, I want to nurture my little baby rebel because it's so good for me. It's so healthy. You could help everyone.
Yeah, exactly. There are so many people crushed right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes me burn like a nuclear fire on the inside. And I hate it. I hate it for society. I hate it for creatives. I hate it for women. Like, I hate that so many of us are forced to conform, are forced to do things that are bad for us, bad for our minds, bad for our mindset. And then we fucking wonder why so many of us are struggling with mental health, are struggling because we are trying to adhere to a set of fucking standards that a faceless bureaucracy has told us to adhere to. And really, if we just embraced ourselves, we can become like all powerful beings, not to get too woo woo, but
no,
like,
but it's
seriously.
true.
Yeah. So yeah, I really need to write that book. And I don't quite know what it will look like, but it's coming. It's brewing. It's on there. I knew you would like that one. I've been holding that in just to tell you.
I am dying. I want this book to be out in the world. I want you to write it. I want to read it. Oh, that's gorgeous.
I want to hear about your things now, though.
Oh, I'm bored by myself already because I'm so excited about yours. Let's see. So I also have the 3 things. That's funny that I didn't actually even put that together. So I'm continuing with the nonfiction, and I'm finally going to write I've written quite a bit of the 90 Days to Done book, which is the course I teach. And it's really been bothering me. I actually had a call with Becca the other day. I got a coaching call with the guru herself because I came to her and I was like, do you know about the Dunning-Kruger cognitive bias? It's my favorite cognitive bias. Dunning-Kruger says that as you start to learn something, when you don't know very much, your brain, you cannot help it, your brain will tell you, you are the shit. And this would explain a lot of things in the world. It explained my early Photoshop skills when I did my first covers. I'm like, look at this. And it was literally the worst thing that's ever happened to the universe. So Dunning-Kruger, as you start to learn something, tells you you're the shit. But the reverse corollary is also true. The better you get at something, the worse you feel you are at it, because you really understand how big a topic you are dealing with. So when I started teaching, when I started teaching seriously, maybe it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago now, I was like, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good. And the more I teach, the more I realize, oh no, everyone is different. No one has my brain. How am I allowed to do this? So I had this coaching call with Becca, and I was basically like, I can't write a book about how to write a book. Who am I to write a book about writing a book? And Becca said, you are fucking Rachael Herron.
Yes.
But what I have learned from Ellie, and I was talking to Becca about this too, is that it doesn't matter. Like, I can give my tools and people can pick them up and use them. But also, Becca said something beautiful. She goes, of all the people who are teaching people things, you are 0% what I'm worried about, because I always tell my students that my ways are my ways, and here are a lot of other ways, and your ways are going to be your ways, and they're not going to look like anybody else. And I also encourage them to go get Clifton Strengths coaching. And the book will reflect that. And I'm going to be presenting in this book this reactive writing method that I've come up with which I think is, it catches the people who are not quite pantsers and who are not quite ultimate plotters. It's the intellectors in the middle, the people with the high thinking skills who get caught up around the axle of thinking too much and making those decisions and moving forward. So that's my nonfiction that I'm moving forward with. And then I have that I'm moving into paranormal women's fiction. And that's what I'm super excited about. That's the new book that the editor loved. I don't know what I'm going to do next in the series, but I want it to be, so here's the thing, Sasha, I want it to be a series and I want to do it for money. And I'm self-publishing. I'm not giving it to my agent. I'm not getting to even look at it, but I also want to stay in love with it. I do not want to do this for money and lose the love. The second I lose the love and the passion, I want to get out, but I want a series. So I need to be like babying and feeding and growing this excitement and passion. And I want every book for me to get more excited about it instead of like, oh, I've never been in KU, but I'm going to go into KU. How many page reads did I get? I don't want to get caught up in that. Are you saying, oh my God, because you're on the same page?
100,000,000%. And I really I'm going to have to tell you more afterwards, but yeah I'm I'm hurting because you're saying all the things in my brain and all the things I'm afraid of.
Because, I want the opposite of burnout. I want the more I write in this series, the more excited to get. And I don't know, maybe that's why I reached out to you, because we can be kindred spirits and cheerleaders for this particular thing, because it is important.
The thing that terrifies me is not making the money, because I'm doing this completely secret. It's secret pen name. Because one, my significance needed the break, needed there to be zero pressure.
Yeah.
The problem comes when you also have competition and you're like, well, if we don't make money, we're not going to do this anymore. And I'm like, no. I love this. I want to do this because I love this as well. But it's that constant battle of trying to make money with the thing that you love. And I know if I just continue to do it, that will happen regardless. You just have to reach the critical mass of book numbers, because eventually you will beat the odds, right?
Yes.
You will eventually.
Yes.
But tell my strengths that.
I loved Alana Johnson's when she said in the middle, she said about releasing the first book of the series. She's like, fuck the first book, basically. Like, it's not going to, just put it out there and go on to the second book. And my own, I think my significance is mid-range, but I was like, wait a second. But
yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. That's where I need to be focusing right now, is writing that, falling in love with that second book, which I don't know what it is yet. But oh
my God, we are going to be so good for each other. This is going to be so good.
And then my third is my TED Talk book, basically, which is it's my memoir about getting sober. But it's not about getting sober. It's about finding myself, and also about finding finding the woo-woo in the world that I believe is supporting me and all of us, and that I am connected to the web of interconnection, all of this stuff. But it's also funny and cheeky. And I gave it to my agent, and I didn't want to, and I'll probably get it back from her, but she wants me to revise a little bit of it before she takes it out. But the thing about this is that I've asked her, please take it out. Please try to get me a lot of money. And if you can't get me a lot of money, I'm going to self-publish this. So don't waste your time asking me to edit this, but I will do a little bit for her. But this is the book I'm super, super passionate about. And she actually came up with a much better title for it than I had. And it is now called The Fix: My Year of Fixing, Failing, and Finding Myself.
Oh, I love that. What was it called before?
It's called Complete, which was nice and evocative and sweet. Also absolutely ungoogleable, like the complete works of, William Shakespeare. Like, complete is not a good word for a book. And Fix,
I love that.
If I'm in a bookstore and if I see a book called The Fix, or if I'm on, browsing on a website, I want to read The Fix about a woman trying to fix herself and failing at doing it and finally getting something. So, that's my third part. How funny that we're on exactly the same page.
I know. I know. Literally as well. Like, we have the TED Talk book, we have the fiction passion, and we have the nonfiction. Like, business as usual. This is crazy.
I feel like you and me and Ellie should have a chat.
Yeah.
Yes, we should.
All her fault.
Yeah. Oh my goodness me. I love that though. And like, I'm excited. And also I do love that title. That is a very good title.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh.
All right.
So I want to hear more. I want to hear a little bit more about the paranormal women's fiction. So like
it's queer paranormal women's fiction.
Okay. Where are you in the process?
So the first book is totally done. That's the one I got back from my editor. And I will now have, I've got to finish a couple things this week, but then next week I'll be into edits, do those in a couple weeks because they're very small edits.
Oh, and this is the one that's the best book ever, which I
felt like it was, and I felt it, but I have deceived myself before, but I do have the goal, as you probably do, that every book, my only goal is to make every book better than the one before it, and I know that I do that, and I don't care what anybody else says, but and so far I've succeeded in that. So that I just need to get a cover. I need to. Oh, the thing that is going to slow me down is that I am going to do the audio for it. Because I've done audio for 2 of my books before, but they've only been nonfiction. I did the audio for a memoir that I wrote and for a fast draft memoir, and people like the way I read, and I think I'm good at it.
I love your voice.
But I've never done voices. I've never done voice acting, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. Also, here in New Zealand, like it's all single pane, and the birds are very loud, so I'm going to have to hire a studio booth in a recording studio and edit it. So I'm sure that will take 2 or 3 weeks at least to record and then edit. But I'm kind of serious about getting the audio out for each, because I always think about Joanna Penn and how she says our strength is our voice. And that's like not only on the page, but if we can share our actual voice in somebody's ear, that's such an intimate experience. So I think that will help cement these books. And I want it all to be able to launch at the same time. So like, even though I'm really lined up to, I could really release it in 4 weeks, but I won't, because, then I'll get the audio done, and then that'll take a month to upload to to Audible through Findaway. So I'm going to do all of that. Yeah.
So are you like audience building now specific to that?
I am
genre?
not. Can I tell you about my fucking genius idea?
Yes. I want to know
audience building.
Yes.
Oh my God. So you had Tammy Lebrecht on recently in that room. I don't even know if it was really recently. I'm always catching up on podcasts. But she had a new book out. So I bought the new book, and then I was like, oh shit, I have the old book. And she Newsletter Ninja, and then the Newsletter Magnet for Readers book. And I hadn't read it. I just had it on my Kindle. So I read it in a couple of hours, and then I read the Reader Magnet in a couple of hours. And then I had the idea, which is, and everybody could, this is why we share ideas. Everybody can use this. I'm going to do a 10 to 12,000 word novella that is I can't remember what she called it, a convertible cookie, which can be for somebody who is not in the world and can go at the end of the book. And it is basically each chapter. And I set this up for myself and I didn't know I was doing it, because bless our brains. Each chapter, there's a quote from a psychic that my character in the beginning just does not believe in psychics, but her husband, who she ends up leaving for a really hot woman.
What a shame.
What a shame. He represents, like he is the psychic's lawyer. So she knows the psychic, and the psychic has a quote at the beginning of each chapter. And then at the end, my main character calls the psychic in panic, basically like, help, help, help. What am I doing? And the psychic says, you're an idiot, basically. But so this is going to be the psychic story, 10 to 12,000 words. It's going to be funny, sapphic, set up so that it connects really tangentially, but people will want to know about it if they've read the book, and they'll want to know about it if they haven't read the book. And I'm going to do the audio for that too, which is a super high value gift. Like, right, you can get this audio or the ebook or whatever. You can get both if you join my mailing list. So I'm building the list for this particular group of people. But then here's the genius part. I'm going to make sure that there is a line or two in there that is hilarious, sapphic, and somehow implies, the witchy woo dead people ghost thing that's going on in these books, in a 15-second soundbite in my voice that then I can put onto TikTok and say, and keep using the sound. And here's, you want more of that? Here's the free audiobook that's an hour and a half long or whatever. And I haven't seen anybody doing that.
That is
at all.
Genius.
Isn't it?
That is genius. Yes, absolutely genius. So it's so funny because some of my patrons were asking me to narrate the fiction, and I was just
and how do you feel about it?
I just don't know. Well,
I really feel like this was meant to happen at this point, because what do you think I was doing on the way back from boot camp today in the car when I was on my own? Shit, you not, I was practicing all of the different voices for my characters.
Shut the fuck up.
I seriously, I swear to God, I swear to Goddess, that is what I was doing today. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. They think I can do it. Maybe I can do it. And then because I've been narrating this book, I've been in the booth, and this book has quotes from a lot of like other indie authors, where I break down their work. So I have been narrating their sentences in different voices, and I'm like, wait a fucking minute, if I can narrate
that's like what
ad hoc
I
voices, in here because quotes, then I can do it in a bloody fiction book. So what I decided to do was do my 4,000 word short story that's at the back of the first book, and then I was like, if I do that, maybe I will. But I hadn't thought about anything to do with TikTok, because obviously that's like my current old series. That's I'm not going to do any. I was like, just as a practice run. But I fucking love that idea. I think that is brilliant, and I cannot wait to hear it and see it, because like that, I love your voice. I literally love you. That's why I listened to How Do You Write, and like what you were 50% of the reason I listened to the write as well, because obviously I listened for Jay as well. But like I think you have such a gorgeous audio voice, and
I feel the same thing about you. I am 100% behind you in this. People want to hear you narrate your books. I really believe that. This is hilarious. I'm dying. Well, I'm nervous too. Wait, tell me about your recording. And I am keeping an eye on time, because we don't want to make this too long. We've done 45 minutes. Let's do a little bit longer. You have a recording booth in your house. Did you build that?
My wife built me a booth. It looks like a telephone box. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a telephone box on wheels. It's literally like
on
a
wheels.
Square. So that just in case we buy a different house, that I can take it with me. Yeah. So we put it on wheels. So, but they're like locked in, so it doesn't move anywhere right now. But like if we move, it can go in the lorry, and I don't have to lose it, which is just fantastic, right? So it's literally a square, like a telephone booth with a door. And then we had the whole house recarpeted when we moved in, and they had like a whole reel of spare carpet. So
perfect.
We lined the booth with carpet, and then I brought audio paneling. So I've got so it's silver and purple. It's like, those are our wedding colors. So it's hilarious. It's all fucking on brand, like, of course. So then I've got these like audio panels on the inside, and then like a shield, mic shield, and my mic. And then
is it standing, sitting?
So I tried sitting, and I found that I made a lot more mistakes. There are a lot more breaths. And there was like this beat that came under it. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the chair or whatever, but I stood this time, and I've barely, like, it's a breeze to record this time.
Yeah. So both books I've done, I had to stand to do.
Yeah.
Oh, you're blowing my mind though, because I thought I was going to have to rent a room, and I just realized we have this absolutely useless space right here where we have a few boxes, but it would have room for a little studio to be built inside it. I don't know if I could do it. Probably not, but I could hire somebody to build it for cheaper than I would spend $100 an hour at the studio for the rental.
And if you get them to make it jigsaw piece so that it can be undone, you could then take it with you.
Jigsaw piece. That's the magic word.
Yeah. And yes, okay, it'd be a bit of a pain in the ass to take all the fabric out or whatever it is that you put in there, but who fucking cares if you get to take it with you? That is priceless. That is an asset you will never, ever, ever have to put money into again.
How do you handle airflow? Does it get very hot?
I wear hot pants and a sports bra.
That's what I've heard from so many audio people. It just gets hot.
Literally, I wear hot pants and a sports bra. I like run through the garden.
Wait, is it outside?
It's in the garage.
It's in the garage, God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So, I sort of hot foot it to the garage. I mean, no, to be fair, I take my clothes off in the garage. But no, the best seasons are spring and autumn.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's too hot or if it's too cold, it's pretty fucking freezing, or boiling. But no, you just get used to it, don't you? You just do it. Yeah. And you get quicker at it. And so you have to spend less time in there. I just pop it in and out, really.
Yeah. You're blowing my mind. Yeah, you're blowing. Lala, my wife, is going to wake up soon, and she's going to be like, who did you talk to? Because calm down.
Seriously though, it's so worth it to have your own booth, especially if you are going to get like record if you're going to do this more than once.
Books. Yes.
It's like investing in vellum, right?
Exactly.
You know,
because I figured it would probably cost at least $1,500, $2,000 just to rent the space. And I can get it built for probably $800. I'm betting.
Yeah. I mean, we spent £250 but
on the materials. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're a bloody genius. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we wrap up? And then we're just going to invite people to keep. Do we need a name for this, or is it just like Sasha and Rachel?
Should have a name. I don't know. I literally don't know. Something to do with like, what about I don't know. Maybe we could brainstorm afterwards. My intellections go, bitch, shut up. You think first.
We can do that, and also we can ask people to tell us what they think.
Yes. Okay.
Too.
That's a great idea.
All right. Yeah. If they have any ideas. Otherwise, it's just, that extra little salon.
Yes. Salon de girls. Yeah. I don't know yet. The Rainbow Club. No. I don't know. Let's think of something good afterwards.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. This is so awesome.
Thank you.
Yay. Happy writing. Okay. Bye.
Don't forget to tune in and subscribe on your podcatcher. And when you have a moment, please leave a review.